Greetings and salutations, guys. I'm here today to review Love Lies Bleeding, a really cool movie with a title that I keep screwing up, but I didn't screw up just now. But Love's Labor's Lost. I keep wanting to say that when I say Love Lies Bleeding. See, I stumbled a little there. Anyway, let's dig into this movie. This is the second film from Rose Glass, and she made Saint Maud that came out about 3 years ago. A movie that I admired, but I knew people that were way more into it than I was. I admired it. I thought it showed a lot of promise. But to me, this is kind of fulfilling that promise. This is an excellent sophomore film from a filmmaker, the kind of progress you want to see. And now I'm very excited to see where she goes next. Set in the late 80s, this movie is in a small little New Mexico town, into which one day walks Jackie, played by Katy O'Brien. She is kind of just passing through on her way to Vegas, where she's going to be in a bodybuilding competition. But she needs to make a little extra cash first. She's going to stay there a little bit. And at the local gym, she meets Lou, who runs the gym, played by Kristen Stewart. And the two of them are just instantly drawn to each other and quickly fall into a very passionate relationship. All while Jackie is kind of getting the lay of the land. And she takes a job at the local gun range, which turns out to be run by Lou's father, Lou Sr., played by Ed Harris, who is a very shady gentleman who might have no good going on, some bad stuff going on. And Lou certainly has some issues with her father. And then there is Lou's sister, played by Jenna Malone, and her brother-in-law, played by Dave Franco. There are some issues there as well. And now Jackie is kind of in the middle of this, in the middle of kind of Lou's drama, Lou's family drama, and all these issues going on. And things sort of start to take a turn for the worse and get sort of more dangerous. And some bad things happen as the movie progresses. Let me acknowledge, because I'm reviewing this movie just a couple weeks after Drive Away Dolls, that yes, there are some surface similarities as far as lesbian couple, a lot of crime, extreme violence, some pretty notable sex scenes that earn the movie, the violence and the sex, an R rating. But very different tonally, those movies. Actually, it's kind of an interesting thing to see how you can approach these things so differently, because Drive Away Dolls is a farce. It is a comedy. It is pretty wacky comedy. Love Lies Bleeding is kind of an intense thriller. There's kind of a pulp vibe to it, almost a noir feel to it. But these two movies are trying to accomplish very different things. So it is funny they're opening kind of close to each other, but they go down such different paths, I think. I really dug what Rose Glass did with this film. I think it has such a distinct, interesting vibe. It really kind of immerses you into this town, into this sort of dusty, dry place, and you really got to get a feel for it. And the fact that in a small town like this, there'd be kind of a couple places where people would congregate. The gym is one of them, if you are someone like Jackie, who is all about the gym, but also that gun range. Even if you're not into shooting, it's the place where the local bar is. And that's where everyone's hanging out. You really kind of believe that this is a real place and a real place and time. And so much credit has to go to the main actors here and how great they are and how great they are together. Kristen Stewart's had a really interesting career, a lot of eclectic roles and eclectic films over the past few years. This is another one. I really like what she brings here, the energy she brings to Lou, who is kind of wound up, almost like feral, ready to pounce. Stuck in this life, stuck in this crappy job. Job is sometimes literally crappy because she has to clean the toilets at this gym she runs. And then in walks Jackie, and what a star-making performance for Katy O'Brien. She is someone who I think a lot of the audience either won't recognize or won't realize they recognize. She's been working a lot, and Disney's been hiring her a lot. She was a recurring role in The Mandalorian. She was in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, but this is her first lead role of this type, and just instantly owns the screen, instantly, proves why she was given this role, beyond the physicality, because yes, she is very buff and very impressive physically, but she is a great actor and gives so much to this character and this performance as someone who kind of has stardust in their eyes, kind of really, she feels like if she can make it to Vegas and if she can win this bodybuilding competition, then she's set. Like, that will sort of change everything for her. And what I really like is how you can see, like, someone like Lou would kind of feel this sort of energy emanating off her and be drawn to it, because she could represent sort of something more and something bigger to Lou, even though she doesn't actually have anything. Even though when we meet Jackie, she is sleeping underneath a freeway. She's basically, just a drifter. But at least there's like sort of the hope of something else, and that Lou would be drawn to that. And then, as the movie kind of gets into its more thriller crime route, I really like how that all comes together. What we learn about Lou and her father and their history. And there's so much great visual style here brought by Rose Glass. I like how some of the flashbacks have kind of this eerie red tone to them. And then it gets a little bit surreal. There's some special effects used for some visuals that are kind of conveying the physicality of Jackie and how that's progressing. And kind of you get this idea that this is maybe intertwined with her mental state of being and how that's all working. And I really love that. On the supporting cast front, everyone's great. Small cast, but Ed Harris, excellent as always, playing such a sort of creepy character. I'm not alone in mentioning that he kind of looks like the Crypt Keeper in this movie. He's filmed and made to look sort of gaunt and skeletal with this long, stringy hair. And I really like what Dave Franco does, kind of playing the skeeviest version of what we might say is a Dave Franco type. Dave Franco has sort of this funny, energy he can bring to a lot of characters as far as overeager, trying hard, and sometimes that can be a lovable character, and sometimes it can be the a-hole in a movie. And here it's used to play just a pretty despicable character, but I think he's great in this. And then, the movie I don't know, it escalates, and there's a lot of great tension, and I really sort of felt that tension. And these are highly flawed characters. I mean, even our two, quote unquote heroes, aren't heroes. They are people making mistakes. They're in love with each other. We are rooting for them. We're invested in them. And we're saying, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Sometimes to extreme extent. And sometimes it's even just someone suggesting something or someone giving something to someone and they think they're helping them, but you kind of can watch from afar going, oh God, don't do that. But you believe that they would make that choice. And I think that's great. It's a really great element to the film. The ending, I don't think is excellent, and it's probably the place where I think it might be hard for some people who are more ending oriented, because I'm all for movies that have sort of an uncertain future or uncertainty about them. We don't need to know everything about how these characters end up. I think this one is a little too extreme in that regard, because there's a lot of questions left unanswered, and there's sort of, if you kind of logically ask some questions about what might happen next, it kind of brings you to an extreme place where I wish maybe things, I'm not saying tie it up with a bow, just a little more resolution with some things there. I would have liked that. And I think some people it might stand out a little more. To me, I can, excuse it or say, hey, even though I wish it was a little different, I love the journey of the movie so much. It's a qualm I have while still thinking this is a movie well worth seeing, that really accomplishes so much. Also, by the way, if there is a mullet Hall of Fame, this movie belongs in it, because between Kristen Stewart's mullet and Dave Franco's mullet, and even Ed Harris is a pseudo mullet, not really, but I'm still going to include him. Great things are happening for mullets in this movie. But most of all, this is just a wonderful calling card movie, I think, for Rose Glass, who already obviously had a calling card movie of Saint Maud, but I think even stepping it up to this next level, and then especially Katy O'Brien, who just, she pops so much. You instantly want to see her do more, and she deserves to, and I think she will. I think she's going to get cast in a lot of other things. It's too bad she was in Quantumania, since that's like the weakest MCU movie, because clearly, she can play a superhero. She would be great actually playing a central superhero. I think she'll get another shot at that. Not to say she should only play a superhero or a character that is only about the physicality, because she shows here she has so much nuance. There's a scene involving her having to do something where you feel so bad for her and feel so it's sort of in her head in such a wonderful way. I really, really dug Love Lies Bleeding. I mean, it's cool, it's sexy, it's violent, it's trippy. What more do you need from a movie? It's opening in limited release from A24 this coming weekend. I think platforming out from there. Hope you get a chance to check it out. If you do check it out, I hope you like it. And if you don't, such is life. Anyway, guys, that is my review of the film. And I'll be back with more. Thanks. Take care.